Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you had a great morning this morning. It is Thursday morning, as always, a coffee kind of morning. Cheers, everyone. A rainy Thursday today, but that's okay. I'm off. So this is going to be another Which Album is Better entry of two awesome debut albums. And I searched high and low for one of the artists. I went through my vinyl collection, I went through my CD collection a number of times, and I could not find the frickin' album. I couldn't find Boston's debut album. Whether I think I lent the vinyl one to a friend of mine, which obviously he still has. But I thought I also had a CD copy of it, and even Discogs says I do, as part of my Discog, maintaining my collection through Discogs, but I could not find it. I've searched 4 or 5 times for it. Probably right after the video I'll find it. But anyway, you all know what it looks like. There's a picture of it there. I do have Montrose's debut album, okay, on CD. So obviously this is Boston's debut versus Montrose's debut. Two great albums. The survey that I posted, there were 56 people participating in the survey. Thank you so much for everyone participating. But it was a runaway. 73% chose Boston, 21% chose Montrose, and 5% was a tie. So no contest. And it's kind of expected. Montrose is only known by a chosen few. As a great album it is. Of course, Boston is so much more well known. So let's hear what I feel about it, and I'll just quickly go over each album and about the band itself, and talk about it, and I'll let you know what I've decided at the end. So here we go. So of course, Boston's debut album, 1976 release. One of the best-selling debut albums, selling over 17 million copies immediately. It wasn't a long-drawn affair. Album produced 3 singles right off the bat: More Than a Feeling, Long Time, and Peace of Mind. But of course, every song on that album is pretty much a single, in my mind anyway. The mastermind behind the album was guitarist Tom Schultz, who basically made it in his basement. An engineering genius, basically, with the help of Brad Delp, lead singer. Obviously remarkable range. Brad Delp, tragic story about Brad Delp. I'm not going to get into that, but even though Schultz played most of the instruments on the album during the recording, on tour, obviously he couldn't do that on stage, so we recruited bassist Fran Sheehan, who, according to Google, was the most knowledgeable musician in the band. Even though guitarist Barry Goodrow, is a fantastic guitarist. I want to get some of his stuff, but I don't have it yet. You've got drummer Sid Hashin, and of course lead singer Brad Delp. They toured with a ton of bands, and this, of course, their popularity grew and grew and grew. It would be a couple of years before the next album came out. It was too much of a stretch. I think they gave it all in the debut album. I liked the next couple of albums, but they weren't as good, as strong as the Boston debut, of course. Still holds up today. Most of the songs on the album were written by Schultz, except for Smokin', co-written with Brad Delp, and Let Me Take You Home Tonight, which was written by Brad Delp. So it starts off with More Than a Feeling, leading into Peace of Mind and Foreplay, long time. So side one is a classic. 3 big singles off the album. Just draws you into the album. Amazing dual lead guitars, amazing vocals by Brad Delp. It just brings you deep inside the album. Side 2 is great, maybe not as strong as side 1, in my opinion. You've got Rock and Roll Band, Smokin', rockin' track on Smokin' for sure. Hitch a Ride, love the acoustics on that one. Something About You to end the album. Something About You, and then ends with Let Me Take You Home Tonight. A bit of a lesser rocking track, but still, all around a decent side 2. Not as strong as side 1, but definitely a decent album side. So the album holds up today just as strong as it did back in the day. I'm going to give this one a 4.5 out of 5. Almost perfect. Almost perfect. But, I mean, the production, the singing, the playing, it took a long time to make the album, so it's darn near perfect. Yeah. So on the other side, you have Montrose. Where's my starting here? Here we go. 1973 release by the American Hard Rock Band, produced by Ted Templeton. Also marked the career debut of guitarist and singer Sammy Hagar. Of course, went on to have a great solo career, work with Van Halen as the lead singer after David Lee Roth departed. Brought them to multi-million-dollar status, all that stuff. Ronnie Montrose, who the band was named after, was a session player for bands like Van Morrison, Edgar Winter, Herbie Hancock, and a ton of other artists. He decided to create a band, so we recruited Denny Carmasio, I think that's how you pronounce it, on bass, I believe it was. On drums, and Bill Church on bass. Sorry, I got that mixed up. Sammy on vocals, of course, and then Monty Montrose on guitar. When the album first came out, it didn't take off as they expected. It was a slow burning sleeper, but eventually became a platinum selling album in 1986. So it took 13 years to become a kind of a major hit. So not like Boston, who just took off. So Montrose was voted the 4th best metal album in 1989 by Kerrang! Magazine, and Hit Parader named it part of the top 100 heavy metal albums of all time. I don't find it a heavy metal album, though. I don't understand this part. It's a great rock and roll album. I don't find it a heavy metal album. Some people compared it to Led Zeppelin. So Montrose was the American version of Led Zeppelin. I can see that. Some similarities there for sure. 2 singles made it off the album, Bad Motor Scooter and Rock the Nation. That leads off the album, Rock the Nation. Most of the songs were written by Montrose and Sammy Hagar. And it starts off with Rock the Nation. It's a rockin' track. Great vocals by Sammy. Bad Motor Scooter, great groove. It's kind of a minor hit for the band. Space Station number 5, maybe the best off the album. in my opinion. I Don't Want It, Straight Ahead Rock and Roller. And then you have the cover of Good Rockin' Tonight. Um, some great lead work by Montrose on that one. Rock Candy, kind of a slower Zeppelin-like track. One thing on my mind is typical rock track, you know, kind of girl and that thing that they're on their mind. Make It Last. Could have been a Van Halen track. Sounds like Van Halen maybe with Sammy in it. But unlike Boston's debut, this is only my opinion, I don't find the album held up or holds up as well as the Boston album does. The songs, you know, just typical rock songs. I don't find it's a heavy metal album. On its own, it's amazing. I love it. But if you compare the two albums, yes, it's a great debut of Sammy's vocal power. So you got Sammy Hagar versus Brad Delp. I think Brad's got a wider range, although Sammy's voice is really, really good. But I find the album is just a typical rock and roll album if you compare the two, Boston and Montrose together. Because of that, I gave it a 4 out of 5. But again, I agree with the majority in this case, that Boston is the best out of the two for its holding power, its staying power. I think it's because it's molded into our brains for all these years. Yes, the songs are overplayed as usual. You don't hear too many Montrose on classic rock. But I just find the album doesn't hold up as well as the Boston debut album. So I agree with the majority in this case. Thank you all that participated in my survey. You guys are amazing. And I'll come up with another versus soon. I got one in mind, and it might be pretty good, might be pretty interesting. And we'll talk to you again later. Take care now. Bye-bye.